Little girls have an easier time sitting down and being quiet in school than boys do. As a boy, I wanted to jump up, I wanted to fight, I wanted to throw stuff, I wanted to lift things, I wanted to just be active. I didn't want to just sit there and take instructions, right? And so when I didn't do that appropriately, you would get labeled in a certain way, and next thing you know, you're in detention and you're stuck. Um, you're sort of pushed out of you're marginalized, and the marginalization of little black boys happens very early. That's one of the reasons why I think black people should be educating black children. I believe that. I think black women understand black boys better than anybody else, and they love them and they want them to do well. So even when they discipline us, especially if they're also taking the inputs of men as well, not just doing it on their own, but you're disciplining that boy in a certain way, he's going to respond to you in a certain way. And also, if you have men around to say, no, it's okay, like let's interpret the behavior differently. I think you will really see a lot of boys really rise and become successful. I know for a fact that if I'd grown up in a school that had mostly black teachers who really cared about me, but were really hard on me, but really cared about me, I would have absolutely flourished. I think I probably would have been based on the kind of kid I was, I would have been the kid that like wanted to go to college at the age of 13 or 14. Like because I wanted to be good at something. I wanted to be great at something. I didn't know what it was. I thought sports was something I could be great at, but track and field is genetic. If you don't have the genetics to run fast, then you can only go so fast. But I would have probably applied that to something else. But I didn't have the guidance. And this is one of the reasons why I think one of the greatest contributions and investments we can make in the community is to really sort of embrace the idea of mentoring black kids, even if they're not your kids. I always say that you don't have to have a child in order to be a parent, and you don't have to be a parent, 100% of the time. Sometimes you could be a parent for 10 minutes. Like okay, we're part of a collective consciousness. We're part of a collective consciousness where all of us want to see black children do well. How many of you agree with that? And give me a yes in the chat if you just generally want to see black youth succeed. You put a yes in the chat if you want to see black people be wealthy, family strong, everybody happy, everybody doing well, everybody succeeding, right? I'm in that category, right? So that's a collective consciousness. All the yeses that are coming through the chat right now is an indicator that we're on the same page, right? We all kind of agree, right? Maybe you don't agree with me on everything, but you agree with me on that. We're collected, so we're connected on that. So right, so that means if I have a child that you see running around acting a fool, or my child is hungry, you're going to feed the child, even though it's not yours. If my child it doesn't understand something and you can explain it to them, you're going to explain it to them because you're like, okay, we're part of the collective consciousness. This is a black baby. This is Boyce's kid. Let me talk to Boyce's kid, right? Or if my child is acting a fool, you'll correct the child. Why? Why? Well, because you're part of that collective consciousness, and I think that the collective consciousness sometimes we lose that. That's why I did the joking video about the out of touch black celebrity, because I don't think many black celebrities, many of them are encouraged to disconnect from the collective consciousness, right? They disconnect from the idea of elevating and improving the condition of the black community. So there are things that happen in the black community they care nothing about, right? They don't, they're more connected to whatever's happening in Hollywood or whatever's happening in the Jewish community, right?